I'm going to share with you every girl hack, every beauty tip that I've ever learned from every brilliant makeup artist, stylist, or just big older sister who actually cared enough to share their secrets. I'm going to share with you everything that I do, and this is specifically for those of you who, you're doing the best with what you got and you love all the fake stuff because not a lot of real is going to be going on. All right, so let's get to it. All of my beauty secrets revealed today. I'm going to talk about the hair extensions, how I make them myself, the self-tanner that I use, how to use boob tape, game changer, bright white eyes, Gel X nails. Oh my gosh, we're going to talk about lashes, Lashify, the best alcohol for you to consume if you want to maintain your youthful appearance, if you are going to drink alcohol, like all of the things that I've learned along the way. I'm about to be the big older sister, the sassy older sister with all of the beauty hacks and secrets that you didn't know you needed. Hi, I'm Chalene Johnson, and thank you so much for tuning in. This is the Chalene Show podcast, and I've just started adding the show to YouTube. So I really appreciate you taking a moment to hit the subscribe button and make sure that you hit the bell so you're notified whenever I upload a new episode. If you prefer to just listen, you can find my show on Apple, Spotify, all the places that people listen to podcasts. But why not listen to it right here on YouTube? Let's get to it. First of all, the one thing that I think everybody will love, guys, gals, even my all-natural friends, is Lumify. This is not sponsored. It should be. Every time I say, hey, Lumify, you should sponsor me, they send me like a free bottle. I'm like, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a discount for my people. Anyways, this is Lumify. And you just put a few drops in your eyeballs. And I'm telling you, your eyeballs pop like you have a filter on. Because there are some filters that just give you a whiter eyeball. I need to put some in. And a whiter eyeball, I think, just makes you look younger, more rusted, more refreshed. And so who wouldn't love a little Lumify? It's kind of expensive. I think this is probably like $20, and it is FDA approved, but I'm not making any claims. Listen, don't come sue me if you go blind. All right, the next thing on my list, which I'm asked about all the time, is hair extensions. I don't wear permanent hair extensions. I used to. And please stop looking at my broken nail if you're watching this video on YouTube. I used to wear hair extensions like from age 19 to however old I am now, which I believe is 54. I have to look at my driver's license. Yeah, I think I'm 54. So that's a long time. Well, I mean, I wore them actually until I was like 45 or 48. And then I just got sick of sitting there for hours. I got sick of the feeling when they started to grow out. All of it. I wanted to like brush my whole head. So I finally got rid of them when I cut my hair short like 5 or 6 years ago. And now I just wear clip-ins, and that's what I'm wearing now. Also, my haircut, which people make such a big deal about, and I think it's because I kept the same hairstyle for so long that I was literally becoming, I don't know, that woman. Do you know what I mean? Who like never changes their hairstyle. So I was like, I gotta update it. Also, you get to a certain age where you're like, I also know what I look good in, and taking risks and doing something like super crazy just didn't seem like the move. So I just changed my part and gave myself a wolf cut. If you happen to be watching this on YouTube, so for those of you listening to the show on the Chalene Show podcast, awesome, love you guys. But for all of the things that I'm talking about and describing right now, this is why I'm doing a YouTube, so you can actually see a lot of what it is I'm talking about and some of the techniques, etc. So with the wolf cut, I just watched a bunch of TikTok videos of people giving themselves a wolf cut, and they basically were just like kind of cutting into the fringes of their hair. I'm like, oh, I can do that. So, and then just parted my hair down the middle. And I need bangs in my mind because I have a 5 head. I mean, I just, no. I like bangs. You get used to seeing yourself a certain way. So then what I do now is I just add extensions on this, because most people, their hair gets really thin on the sides of their head. It's where you sleep. It's just also where you tend to lose hair. So I put in little hair clips, hair extensions, and I get asked about these all the freaking time. Okay. So what I did is I put a hair clip in, that's the spot where I want it, which is right at my temple. And then I cut it, shagged it to match my wolf cut. But you could use them for volume, you could use them for length, and I'm a huge fan of clip-in hair extensions. Number one, a tenth of the price. Number two, total versatility. Number three, fun. You can change your look up just for date night. You can take them out when you want to put your hair up in a tight ponytail. You're not going to lose hair the way you do when you've got regular hair extensions in and you're sleeping and your head's moving around. Even if you're using a silk pillowcase, they tend to pull. You tend to just lose hair. I'm going to share with you my favorite find. Okay, so here's what I do. This was, I think, $50, $60. That's insane. And it's pretty heavy, okay? And it's all human hair. And I got it on Amazon, and it's called Goo Goo. Goo Goo is the brand. I'm gonna link all of this in our show notes. If you're on my newsletter, I sent out a newsletter that has like every single link to all of these things, but I'll also put it in the description on YouTube, okay? It'll be on the description on YouTube. But make sure you get on my newsletter, because I send things in my newsletter that I don't talk about in my podcast, like little finds, like maybe a great book, a documentary, things I find on Amazon. Anyways, these. Okay, so the only difficult thing about ordering hair extensions on Amazon is picking out the color, right? Because like, how do you know? So what I do is I carefully look through the reviews, and sometimes and even still that's not 100%, but the returns on Amazon are so good. So do yourself a favor and order like 2 or 3 colors that you think might be right. Don't take them out of the packaging, but take them out enough where you can, like, don't put them in your hair, because I don't think you can return them, but just put them up to your hair so you can see, like, is this a close enough match? I mean, look at that. That's really freaking good. And again, they're $60. This one is. So this is, I think, a 14-inch, and that is the full length of it. So you have to think about, like, if that's at the nape of your neck, I don't need, that's really long for me. In fact, I'll probably cut these. In fact, I will. But what I do is I buy these and then I cut them into individuals. So this is my trick, because this is thicker than buying individual hair extensions. As you can tell, like this little clip on the side that I wear on the side of my head is quite thick. If you were just to buy in the regular packs of extensions, you have to kind of like pile them on, and I ain't about that life. So what I do is I buy what's it called? Hold on a second. It is called I think it's called like a halo, and it usually comes with a little wire that attaches around the front of it. I hate the wire. It gives me a headache. I could never really hide it anyways. I hated it. So I cut the wire off, and then if I'm going to wear it as like just a clip-in all the way around to make my hair thicker or longer for fun, then I cut the wire and I sew on additional clips, which they give to you when you buy this from GoGo Hair. And I just sew additional clips on. So I sewed one on each very edge corner of the halo, if that's what you want to call it, and then one on the very back. And because the more clips you have, the more secure it's going to feel. However, then I buy another one of these and I just cut them into like 2-inch widths, and I sew my own hair clips onto them so that I can make my own little, hair clips, any size you want. So you can go like 3/4 of an inch or 2 inches, whatever you want. And then, I mean, in terms of hair, this stuff is the best quality that I have found. And I told you, I've been wearing hair extensions since I was 19 years old. I'm kind of an expert at this stuff. They don't last forever. This is human hair, and it's been overly processed, and it's been dyed, and it's been straightened, and it's been, chemically treated, all these things. So eventually it does get kind of like, what do you call it? Kind of scraggly. So then just buy yourself another one, or be really good about treating it with like a hair, what do you call them? Drops, hair drops that keep it nice and soft and silky, like silk drops, I guess you would call it. Anyways, that's my hair extension little tip for you. Here's another one. This is something I just started doing, because my hairdresser's like, you can't wash your hair every day. You're killing your hair. I'm like, okay, but I have to, because my hair is so fine that if I don't wash my hair every day, it looks horrible. But I can wear a hat, and if I'm wearing a hat now, I just have like little scragglies of oily hair hanging out the bottom. Not cute. So I will put in, I bought one of these so I can just like attach it to I can pull my hair into a ponytail or tuck it under, so I can have like cute hair hanging out, but I can put like a treatment or a mask on my hair, or even a growth serum on my scalp, and like give myself a couple of days to really like let my hair recover. But in the meantime, it kind of looks cute. Here's another little tip I like to do, is buy the ponytail, the phony ponies, right? So you want to buy one that has a wrap that's also hair, because sometimes they come with a wrap that's a ribbon, and that just does not work. So you buy the phony pony, and I'll link this as well. This one like needs to be thrown away. It's so scraggly. But what I do, because they come and they're super thick and they're super long usually, they usually only sell them in like one length. So I cut it short, I thin it out. I cut a ton of it out so it's like much thinner. Then what I do is I use this whenever you see me in a top knot. So when you see me in a top knot, that's not my hair in the top knot, y'all. That is, I put my hair up in a ponytail, and then I put the phony pony right on top of my head, and then I wrap it, and I put in like 2 bobby pins, and she done. And again, I do that as kind of a protective measure for my hair. I'll put like a growth serum in the spots where I'm thinning, or I'll put a mask on my hair, and it's just a great way to like have a cute look, but also protect your hair and not have to shower every single day. All right, moving on to my next favorite girl hack, and that is, if you're a nail girl, maybe no one wears their nails this long except for Cardi B. It's just me and Cardi. But I've always loved long nails, and they just keep getting longer and longer. And my hair keeps getting shorter, and my nails keep getting longer and longer and longer. I don't know why. I just love it, because I'm always like, can I actually do anything with this length? I totally can. Now I feel so weird when my nails are like active length, which is what most of you would consider very long. But here's the key. I hate wasting time sitting, doing any kind of maintenance appointment, right? Getting my hair done, waxing, laser, anything where I have to like sit still for hours. I can't do it, right? So especially getting my nails done, like I will have an anxiety attack. This is so much faster. Number one, they're called Gel X. Now, your salon probably has these. I don't care where you live. I've turned so many girls onto these. And here's the Gel X system. They are a nail that's already pre-formed. So you know, sometimes you get a nail tech and you're like, that is not what I asked for. Like your nails like so ugly. You go home, you stop off at the drugstore, you buy your own emery board, and you start like fixing them after you just spent 3 hours and $200. You know what I mean? So for me, like the shape is everything. Speed is everything. So that's how I discovered Gel X nails. Now that's the name brand, but there's tons of knockoffs now, and your salon probably has them, but it's not gel polish. It's a gel formed nail. So I'm going to show you, this is an imitation of them. Okay. These are just cheap. I got them on Amazon. Okay. So this is a gel nail. It's already pre-formed. They have them in super short. They have them in almond shape, in stiletto, in coffin, like whatever shape you want, whatever length, they already come pre-formed. Stop looking at my broken nail. Okay. Stop it. And they're pre-formed, so you don't have to worry about like your tech getting the nail just right for you, or like keeping it super thin. Speaking of thin, so what they're made out of gel, which means they melt them off your nails, so you don't have to do the like, you know, which you have to do with acrylics. So my nails underneath, not that it matters, not that I'll ever go natural, but if I ever needed to, my nails underneath are so much stronger. They used to be like painful, like paper thin, like every time they started to like drill, and I'm like, like it was so painful. But now because they soak them in acetone, and then they just kind of scrape them down. It's amazing. So it's really fast. It's better for your nails. You get a more consistent outcome, I guess you would say. And they have every size, color, not color. They come clear. They paint them for you. These are just a knockoff. Anyways, I love the Gel X nails. Super duper thin, and because they're made out of gel, they don't break. This is a long story. They don't break. This is like the first time I've broken one, like so long. Plus the set is like, I don't know, 3 weeks old, I should say. And a Gel X set will last you, if you're careful, like 3, 4, maybe 5 weeks. I've heard in some cases. I get bored with my color and I go in and change it. But anyways, that's the find. Call your salon, ask them if they have gel extension nails. They're going to say, oh, we've got gel. No. Gel extension, the preformed gel extension. And then a lot of times you can just go on Yelp and search Gel X or gel extension, and you'll see it in somebody's review of a nail salon. Faster, all the things. Okay, next we're going to talk about skin. So I had skin cancer when I was 26 years old. And I forget what grade it was. I think it was grade 3. It was enough where they had, like, I was like, oh, it's no big deal. It's just a mole. But I had this student of mine. I was teaching fitness classes, and she was like, Chalene, I am mole patrol. I know like I have the sense, like I can tell when someone has a cancerous mole. You have a cancerous mole on your thigh. I'm like, okay. And she's like, don't get married until you do that. And I felt like, gosh, okay. So I did. I went and got checked out. She was right. It was cancerous on my thigh. And so I had it, cut out, and it came back and the borders still had cells, I guess. And so they cut it out again and cut it out again. I mean, until it was like a hole like that big. And then they sewed it up and there was like a divot in my thigh. And eventually my fat cooperated and filled it all in. But yeah, so I don't like going in the sun. Plus I'm Irish Scottish. So I just burn and get more freckles and sun damage. But I like the way I look when I'm tan. So here are my tricks. Number one, if I don't have time to do a self tanner, but I need to wear like a short skirt, or I don't know, I've got skin exposed, even if it's like not like a sunny thing, I just have skin exposed. My skin is splotchy and blotchy and it's translucent. And it, as I'm aging, I'm seeing like, God, why do I have so many veins? But so this is super cheap and it's at your local drugstore, like CVS, Amazon, whatever. It's called Sally Hansen Airbrush Legs. Game changer. Just put a little tiny bit on and you cannot imagine. It is like, it's like body makeup. It's super inexpensive. Here's the rub though. It rubs off on friggin' everything. So Brett's passenger side seat in his car is orange. He's got a white interior, except his passenger seat is orange. When I bought my car, I got a white interior and I put towels down when I'm going to be in that car because I'm not going to get my own car orange. We learned our lesson that way. You don't have to put very much of this on. It is waterproof. So if you were like to go in the shower and just stand there under the water, it's not going to come off. If you're going to go swimming or go to the beach or whatever, or even in your bathing suit, it like smooths the appearance of cellulite, of veins, of irregularities in your skin, which we all have. And again, I love it if you're comfortable being completely natural. That's not who this video is for. That's not who this podcast is for. This podcast is for those of us who are like, yeah, I want all the tricks. Give me all the tricks. I want to compete. You know what I mean? I want to make the most of what I've been given and zhuzh it up a little bit. That's all we're doing. We're zhuzhing things up. So this stuff is amazing for that. However, this is great. It's called St. Moritz, STMORIZ. Again, I'll link all of this in our details, but I get the medium. I wish they made it dark. I think they only make a medium, but it's called a 1-day instant tan. It is also waterproof. It's more hydrating than the Sally Hansen, and it is rub off resistant. So this stuff doesn't, the St. Moritz Instant Tan, this stuff isn't as opaque. It's a little bit more tanning looking. It's more hydrating, and it doesn't transfer off to your clothes. So if I were to wear like a white dress and I haven't tanned and I don't have time to tan, I would probably use this on my thighs where it might get, rub off. And then I might use the Sally Hansen on like my lower legs. And I'll tell you what, when I've combined the two of them, it's a very, very natural looking tan. As for self tanner, my sister turned me on to this one thing. Shout out to Janelle. It's called Loving Tan. And what I love about Loving Tan is it goes on with a color, so you can see where you've missed, which is really important. And you're also instantly bronze. It's really dark until you take a shower. So you leave it on for like 6 or 8 hours or whatever. So a lot of times I will be butt white and I'll put this on before going out in a bathing suit, which by the way, I'm always in the shade anyways. But when I walk out, I want to look tan. I want to look like I've been to the beach. And so I'll put this on and go from butt white to tropical tan. And as the hours pass, you suddenly look a little bit like that character from Something About Mary. You look so brown, it's weird. Like, it's not an orange, but it's also too brown. Do you know what I mean? And then when you shower it off, you'll love the color. And I find that this is not as drying as many of the other self tanners I've used. I love the color, but I do think with self tanners, it has everything to do with your pH balance. So this might be right for you, it might not. I'd love for you to tell me in our comments, like, drop the Pod Squad, which is on Facebook. That's where we all hang out. Or you could leave a comment under the YouTube video, or you could, wherever you listen. I want this to be convenient for you. If it's Patreon, then cool. Leave your comment in Patreon. Tell me what your favorite self-tanner is and why. Because I do think self-tanners are one of those things where it kind of depends on your pH balance, your natural skin tone. I don't think this has any odor, but some people do, right? Like, usually Brett hates the odor of self-tanner, and he never complains about this. So I think That's my self tanner at the moment. Let's talk lashes. And I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with this company. Number one, I keep begging them to become sponsors of the show, and they're like, oh, we don't do that. I'm like, I want them to be a sponsor so I can give people a discount because it's hella expensive. And I'm going to be very honest about that. They're called Lashify, and this is my lash system. You're going to be offended. This is my personal opinion. I am not a fan of the deep, I call them the deep fakes. And I was wearing them too. But times have to change. Styles have to change. Think about it. We're not wearing the same makeup we were wearing in the 2000s, hopefully. We're not wearing the same jeans that we were wearing in 2015, hopefully, right? Like, so you got to update your style. Lashes need to be updated too. I see so many people wearing these like giant, heavy tarantula lashes, and I wore them too. I'm saying we got to move on. And when they just look so heavy, and they're like weighing your eyes down on the corner because they're too long and they're too heavy, and the lashes like that don't grow in nature. I mean, not like any of the stuff grows in nature anyways, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's this, I think you look younger and softer and a little bit more to be fake, but a little bit more natural. Does that make sense? Is to wear a more natural lash. And so that's why I switched to Lashify, number one. Number two is I tried lash extensions. I can't do it. Again, I know some of you are going to be offended by this, but I think lash extensions look great for 2 days. And then there's like one going to the right, one going to the left. The center has a whole chunk missing. There's a piece over here missing. And they don't look right after a couple of days, in my opinion. And then you got to go back in, you got to lay down, you got to close your eyes, and you have to let somebody work on your eyelids for however long. And I can't do it. These last me 7 days. It is a self-applying system, but I'm telling you, they're hella expensive. And I know you're going to tell me about all the dupes. I know, I've tried all the dupes. They're not sponsoring me, so I would love to tell you about all the dupes. And maybe the dupes will be great for you. I would say it doesn't hurt to try, especially. In fact, I dare say, Lashify, you should have sponsored me, because I probably wouldn't have said this had you. But I would dare say, if you want to give this a whirl in a really inexpensive way, try one of the dupes like Lashify. There's a couple of others. I can't think of the name of them right now. Something Street, Flutter Street or something. There's a couple of them, and they're dupes, so you'll understand the system. But I did not find that they looked as natural. I didn't find that the glue lasted as long at all. I also found that the other companies' glues and even their lashes kind of irritated my eyes a little bit. So I went back, and I really do think they are so good at making, they're called gossamers, I guess, at making these lashes so, you can't even see them, but they're so light that you would swear it's a real lash. And they come in these little clumps. And so generally speaking, what you do is you apply, kind of like mascara, the serum or the glue just to the very edge of or base of your lash line, right? Just there, you just tap it in, and then you put another serum on top of that, and then you just tap, tap, tap in all these little clumps, which the first time there's a learning curve. It probably took me 25 minutes, I'm being honest, maybe 30 even, because I was really being careful and placing them and just so unsure and reading the directions, and it felt very overwhelming. But after the first time, I'm like, oh shoot, why did I make such a big, that was so easy. I think because when they send you the kit, it just feels like, this is huge and I need to watch a lot of tutorials, and it's just not that big of a deal. If you've got a girlfriend who's already doing this, just say, hey, can you just quickly show me how you do it? Or watch one of the tutorials on YouTube. There's a bunch of them. I love them. I sleep with them. Now the way that I sleep is I sleep with my face kind of hanging off the pillow like this, so that my eyes aren't getting scrunched. My lashes don't get scrunched. But if you lose a corner one, so what? You just put that little corner one on the next day with, their special glue. And I love them so much. The other thing I would say is a little bit of a learning curve is figuring out which lash looks best on you. Because all of us have a different shape of an eyelid, different shaped eyes, different size of eyes. And so that took me some time to figure out what I really, really like. I mainly wear now, it's called B+. I wear B+ 12, 14, 16, 14. And sometimes I'll throw in, for extra flair, I'll cut up one of the, they're called the SB, which I think stands for Starburst or something. Yes, and they're like kind of curlier. So I'll throw in like one of those on the ends every once in a while, but mainly I'm wearing B+ because they're very, very light and airy and they look real. And you know, the other thing that you can do is if they don't look as dramatic as you want, you can always add mascara to them. You're not supposed to. Can you reuse these? You're not supposed to, but sometimes I do. Until one of my girlfriends like, why are you reusing them? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, do you really have time to clean them? A lot of people do. So there's videos that'll show you how to clean those lashes. And even if you just want to put like a couple of corners on, because you've never tried lashes before, again, start with one of the dupes just so you can kind of understand the system and not waste your money, because the starter kit is pretty expensive. But if you're like, oh, I kind of like the dupes, then you'll love. Okay, now let's talk about boobs. Whenever I'm wearing like a strapless top or a halter or a backless top, people are always like, what bra are you wearing? So I'm not. I'm wearing boob tape. And if you have never tried boob tape, you don't know what you're missing. Trust me, this is a game changer. It gives you cleavage, it gives you coverage, it gives you support, and the stuff does not come off if you put it on the right way. So when you put it on, make sure there's no oil, no lotions whatsoever on your body. You should probably wash yourself down with Windex. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. But you want to make sure there's like nothing, no residue on your skin, or this tape will come off. It's like stretchy tape, and you can cut it into just about any configuration you want. You can push the girls together. You can pull the girls up. You can pull the girls up and bring them up, bring the tape around the back of your neck. You can crisscross it and just give yourself some amazing cleavage. You can just give yourself some support. The stuff is amazing. And when you order it, and I'll send you the link too, it's from Amazon, you just put this nipple cover over your nipple so that it's not uncomfortable when you take the tape off. Trust me. But the tape is not bad at all. In fact, here's my recommendation for taking the tape off is I get it wet. I just like leave it on and I get in the shower and I use like some soap and water, and then that way I'm not like tearing off my skin, because I learned that the hard way. And I literally it looked like hickeys on the tops of both of my clavicles, because I just tried to rip it off. Yeah, that wasn't too smart. Sometimes I get aggressive and I'm not thinking straight, and yeah. So definitely I highly recommend like lathering them up to take the tape off. But this stuff is bomb, and it comes in a couple of different colors. I've tried a couple of different brands. They seem pretty similar to me, but always look at the reviews and see what people say about the stickiness. She's back. Okay, this is actually a beauty hack, and I know you're thinking like, what? Okay, alcohol is a toxin. We know that. But when it comes to, the fact that sometimes you do want a cocktail or an adult beverage, nothing will age you or make you more inflamed than drinking alcohol that's been domestically brewed, or whatever they call it. Most, not all, but almost all domestic wines and alcohols, if they're made here, those companies don't have to tell you what's in it. They don't have to tell you what additives, preservatives, nothing. All they have to tell you is the percentage of alcohol. So you have no idea how many toxins, in addition to alcohol itself being a toxin, that you are consuming. You have no idea the calories, you have no idea the sugar, you have no any of those things. That's why for so many people, they start to get the look of a drinker, if you know what I'm saying, or you just look puffier, you look older. And so what I recommend, if you are going to engage in an adult beverage from time to time, do an imported wine, and it's different from organic. Okay, so the organic standards here in the United States are different. What you want to look for is something that has everything on the label that's inside the bottle. And so for most of us, that means you've got to get a European wine or champagne. Now, sometimes you can get this when you're out at restaurants. You can get that if you're, careful about the way that you buy, but look closely on the label to figure out where it was bottled, where it is being distributed from. Because if it's not Europe, they can basically do whatever they want here in the United States, and they can tell you it's organic. They can tell you like all these great things, but they're not required to tell you what's actually in the bottle. So for us, especially when we're traveling, I love champagne. So I found this company, and I'll share it with you. It's called Dry Farm Wines. This is not a Dry Farm wine champagne. This is a champagne that has been imported. It's actually a sparkling rosé, actually, and this is imported from Italy, and it's imported by Dry Farm Wines. Okay, so am I making any sense? Dry Farm Wines isn't a winery. They're just a company that imports and triple lab tests their wines and champagnes to make sure they meet their standards, because the founder of the company was like a, what do you call him? A biohacker, right? And he is keto. So he's trying to find wines that were super duper low in sugar. These all have less than 1 gram of sugar. All of their wines and champagnes, again, they're from lots of farms all around the world, and they're delicious. But here's the rub. I'm always going to tell you like the pros and the cons. Those are all the pros. Super affordable, like around $25 or less, I think, per bottle. I'm sure they have more expensive ones, but like it's around $25 per bottle, maybe less. And you can tell them what you want, but the rub is it is a subscription. So I'm not sure if you have to do 3 or 6. I think it's 3 bottles. I think you can probably just order to try it, but what you want to do, in my opinion, is like, let's say you like reds, then have them send you a variety of reds, pick 2 that you like, and then say in your next box, say, just send me these 2. Like Brett and I have our favorites now. We're totally on a sparkling kick. So we have our favorites and we say, just send us those next time. We don't need any of the other ones. And it's just nice because then when I'll just leave that right there. When you're going to like a dinner party, you can bring like a really cool bottle of wine that you know is consistent with your own beliefs around health, etc. Again, I'm not like trying to encourage drinking at all. I'm just saying like I will rarely drink just like a cocktail because I don't know what's in it. And even though that's not that big of a deal, I just hate the way I feel. But I really do enjoy doing right now a champagne, and you can even take this to most restaurants will allow you to bring your own bottle, which is kind of nice. But when you're in a pinch and you're in a restaurant, this is just my personal take. I just always order a champagne because in order for it to truly be a champagne, it has to be from France, from that region. And so, a little safer than sorry. But ultimately, don't drink anything if you really want to look your youngest, because the fact of the matter is people who drink more look older. It's not good for your skin. It's not good for your sleep. It's not good for, alcohol is a toxin. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I realize that there's a lot of things I do that are probably toxic. Plenty of them. So I try to live by like the 80-20 rule. I want to live my life. I could die tomorrow. You know what I mean? So I want to have a good tan. I want to have nice fake hair, fake nails. I'm sure, like all the stuff in the nail salon, I'm sure that's all toxic too. So I try to make up the difference in other areas of my life by like eating unprocessed foods, by exercising every day, by getting the right kind of sleep, by drinking tons of water. I try to do all the right things so that I can have a little bit of leeway in the other areas, because I don't know. I think some of these people, they get all caught up in like everything being non-toxic and, oh my God, is that a plastic bottle? What are you doing? That's, I mean, I get it. I understand that some people, they've had scares with cancer or whatever, and they just want to do that. But I also feel like those are the people who are going to end up getting hit by a car. That was horrible to say, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I think you got to also just live your life, because you just don't know what's going to take you out. So 80-20 rule works for me. I'm not telling you how to live your life, but if you do like some of those fun ways to zhuzh up yourself and look a little extra girly, those are some of my favorite tricks and treats and hacks and buys and finds. I hope you found that enjoyable. Let me know what you think. And if there's anything else like that I haven't discussed, I'm happy to share all of my secrets. I'm an open book. Thanks for watching the YouTube video. For those of you who are listening in on the Chalene Show audio, go check it out on YouTube. Subscribe, because you never know when I'll be doing an episode and you're like, oh yeah, I actually want to see what it is that she's talking about. And for those of you who are new here on YouTube, be sure to click subscribe and then hit that little bell so you can see the bell will change colors so that you get notified when I upload a new episode of the Chalene Show. All right. Thanks for being here. I love you. I mean it. And I'll talk to you soon.